Well, hello, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me here in my shop on July 25th. So if you're watching my videos as I post them, you know last video I was working on a small farm battery type radio, and I've set that radio aside for reasons I won't go into now, but that's why this is here. And what is this? So this is the receiver amplifier from a console, and I have the record player for it also, and my understanding from the owner is record player needs some attention, and this is working pretty good. Now I may have the story wrong because it was told to me a while ago, and wow, there's an awful lot of inputs and outputs here. Look at all these, all this, that, and a switch here that says remote speakers on and off. Right now it's switched to on. And a wire here. Oh, that's soldered there. That's what that is. Okay, just making observations on it. Let's get a little closer with this camera here. So what we're seeing here is a lot of quite reliable components. I don't see any really questionable components here except for this guy and this guy here. These two guys might be worn out. Everything else is probably in very good shape. Yes, the resistors could have drifted. Capacitors can fail for various reasons, but these are all highly reliable components. So in terms of a vintage, this is pretty good. Let's just look a little bit here. Okay. I'll look around the other side now. So we see the power amplifier, the bigger parts are put up here. This is the top. So they put the heat generating components up here where the heat just continues up and out. This would be the radio receiver board here. So I see some transistors that are probably germanium transistors there. Got some capacitors here that could be poor. They're electrolytic. They may or may not be in bad shape. Wow, there's one jammed way up in here. Hard to access. Some of these are hard to access. There's some transistors here that would appear to be silicon transistors. Some diodes in there. So there's three IF type transformers here and a couple more here. This is an AM/FM receiver, so we can bet one of these five is involved with the detector of on the FM side. The others are probably just IF amplification stages. You can see a transistor here. You can see one here. And I'm going to guess there's one here too. Yeah, pretty much anywhere I put my finger I'm going to find a transistor anyway. So chances are, and I believe the owner told me the radio works. Like I say, I can't quite remember. Well, this is pretty impressive here. If we look back in here, we see gears. Wow, gears. And I think maybe even over here there's gears. What are they gearing here? So you can see when I turn this, you can see the tuning pointers moving. There's quite a weight on here to give the feeling of momentum. It's working very good. You can see the two tuning capacitors moving here. So that's got to be the AM side, and then this must be the FM side, and they've just done it in a very similar way. Look at that, eh? Now, you see inside here a mechanism moving. Let me turn it some more. So when you see something like that, I think what you're seeing is the alternative to a tuning capacitor of that sort with the plates. In this case, I think, I can't be sure, I can't see in there. This is inductance tuning. There's coils with a slug moving in it. That's very much what this looks like. Now look at that pointer. Eh? You know, how did they manage to figure out that that pointer would move linearly or however it moves? What a complicated thing in itself, eh? Wow. This is a beast. This is a beast. I mean, how did people think all this stuff up? Look at that. Wow. I guess the AM and the FM tuning have a very, very similar sort of feel. Very, very similar. Sounds the same. Feels the same. Now, it would look like on the AM side there's some kind of sluggish tuning in here too. Sluggish. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Sluggish tuning. There's a lot of grease in there that looks pretty dried up, but it's all moving. Now, on the front here, so this aluminum back panel appears to be bent forward on this side here. Oh, it's very, very light. I'll just bend it back. Or maybe it's been bent back over here and it should be pulled forward. Better leave that alone. Light bulb right there. Headphone jack. A couple of knobs stayed on. Lots of switches. Okay, so, you know, obviously I'm in the process of just looking it over and getting familiar with it, but if we're going to try and operate it, this one a little bit. We need to get some speakers hooked up to it, and we need to supply power into it. This is AM, FM. This says remote speakers, 3 terminals. This says external speaker. So remote speakers, external speaker. Then I'm going to take a guess this is the speaker. It's a plug heading out to the 2 speaker sets in the cabinet, which of course I don't have the cabinet. I just have the I just have the guts here. So it's a fairly good guess that this is the speakers, but it is just a guess. You could just hook up to the external. How come it says external speaker but only 1? Why would that be? Why would they have only 1 external speaker? So, this down here says cabinet speakers. We have all these. That says plus 12 volts. Huh. R, G, and L for right, ground, and left. So these are the speaker outputs here. What exactly this is, don't know yet. Appears to be the same connections as in here. Just glancing at the wiring. So maybe this is motor power for the record player. It says AC line right here. No label on this. Circuit breaker here. So these got to be inputs, of course. This is right, 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 left, left, left. Looks like record. I just can't quite read them here. Let me grab my new camera, which I've got stuck way up in the sky here. And we'll take a look with this camera, see how this works out. So this is replacing a camera I had. The cord gave out on it. Let's see how this guy works out now. I'm going to adjust the focus, so just bear with me a moment while I do that. Okay, focus. There it is. Tape, record, and phono, of course. Phono. Now usually they say record and play, but here they've got tape and what I assume is record. Yeah. Okay. Let me just look at these. We've got the thing out here now. FM, AM. That camera makes a nice picture, right? Look at how sharp that is. That's a beauty. Remote speakers on. I should probably have this off. Now, this may be changing the output arrangement of this amplifier. When this is off, all the power the amplifier can muster is delivered, to the regular speakers and maybe to this external one. When you have the switch on, the power is parsed. I'm just guessing this. And some of it delivered out to the remote speakers here. Because if you hook up two remote speakers, and they're big honkers, and you run the internal speakers and the remote ones, and you let the thing just give it everything it's got, it's probably too much. It's probably too much for the amplifier. And you're going to overheat it somehow. So that's probably what that is. So we turn this off because we don't plan to use these, and I'll try to make a connection into here somehow. And what the 12 volts is for, pretty interesting. Oh, what's that say up there? Phono AC pilot light. Phono AC pilot light. Plus 12 volts. So the pilot light must be these. This must be sending power to a pilot light in the phono. Could be something in the cabinet, mounted right in the cabinet. And the plus 12 here, I don't know, charge your car battery from that, maybe if you need to. You got me. Yeah, maybe a closer look with this camera would be useful. So I'm looking for parts which are clearly damaged, burned, darkened, just basically ugly. Some interesting transistors in there. Look at them all in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Button type transistors, but nothing burned up. I find when I'm doing this work, it pays off to do a very close inspection like this. Once in a while you find something that it was going to be hard to find otherwise. Just seeing it is worth it. With all the pretty colors and fancy shapes. Transistor snuck up in there. So nothing appears to be overheated, and I'm starting to get the impression that this guy has not seen much service either. He hasn't gotten a lot of use. How stiff are those wires? These are coming out of the... So, well, they're very stiff, but not as stiff as some. You would not want to bend any of those wires. You can see that there's some kind of mildew attack going on too. This white powdery stuff. Something is eating these wires. How come that back one is it green turned black? Because down below there it turns green. Well, what's happening to that? It's green. It's just green with filth. A lot of filth on those wires, but things look nice and clean over here. That's kind of odd, eh? Huh. It's like there's some of those wires again. The ones coming from the transformer are all mildewed. They're under attack. Something is having lunch there. Okay, it all looks really good. It all looks really good. Really really quite good. So, but last bit to look at here. So generally speaking, I think if you're gonna pick up vintage equipment, you know, and of this sort, look at all the beads on that wire down there. You know, getting something in the early transistor years like this, as opposed to getting a tube system in the late tube years. Wow, it's quite a debate over just what the better thing to do would be, in my mind, because, you know, tubes don't scare me, of course. So look at that resistor with a coil wound around it. Did you look at it? Good. Okay. So nothing out of the sorts here again. Just a bunch of little electrolytic capacitors. They're probably all fairly serviceable. There's nothing in here that's really even out. Let's look at these guys. So these are all original, I bet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all original. And these filter capacitors, when they're in metal cans like this, I find that they actually survive really well. Can isolated, negative. Why can dot? Why they got can dot there? Is it a longer word? Canation. 1000. Type FP. And over here we've got, let me turn my camera around, get it right side up. So sorry for, now the camera's upside down, I'm having trouble moving it properly. Can we just see that? Looks like 500 microfarads, 50 volts. And this is probably very similar down here. No, it's different again. 60 volts. How many? 0, 0, 0. What kind of a number is that? 0, 0, 0 E? Oh, here we are. MFT 1000. Right. Okay, big capacitors, but they're probably in good shape. Very good indeed. So I think what I need to do now is figure out how to power it up, get the speakers hooked up to it, and yeah, how to power it up. I never once saw where you plug it in. Well, no, you're aiming this at the where do you plug? Though this must be the input power here. And then this is a power opportunity for something else. This must be the input power, which may be why it says AC line. It's not an output, it's an input. A little hard to see it. Where else could you put power into something like this? Well, there's two terminals here. This is a polarized plug. No doubt there could be some issues around which way you put the wires on here. I'm going to tip this up and take a look. Take a better look. One of the things I like about, the antenna's down here. One of the things I like about working on these great big console stereos is the engineers are not very restricted in their design work, in the sense that they have all the space in the world. In fact, they want to take up some space. They want this thing to be large. They want a nice big control panel on it to go with the bigness of the console. So consequently, parts are not jammed in so tight all the time. It makes it pretty easy to work on. So here's where the power comes in. Maybe goes straight to these two terminals, and then goes Thing goes, looks like it's going up into this switch bank. One of these switches is probably the on-off switch. Let's get this right. AC on. So this top switch is the power switch. I'm going to guess that's the off position, and that's on. That's off. And what is this? This is external speaker. This is reverse the speakers. So you have power speakers. External speaker, speakers off. What's that there? What's that supposed to do? Speakers off. Beside the reverse switch. So I don't know what that is. I don't know. It's this funny little piece here too. A little nubbin in there. Oh, maybe that's to feel it. Bump, bump, bump. So you know when the balance is in the middle. I don't know what that is. It's a strange deal here. It's a nice funny little window here. That odd look. I've never seen that symbol before. Clairtone. Is that the Clairtone symbol? And that's going to fit right over this light bulb here. So the light bulb is going to light this and going to cast light up into here. So the light bulb is fitting right in here. Now this is a split. Whoop, whoop, here. Look down here. Sorry if I'm not showing this properly, but so you see there's a fitting here for the light bulb to sit in. And to make this work really properly, you need to set the light bulb in here so the filament of the light, which is really where the light's coming from, it's not coming from the glass bulb, it's coming from the burning filament, is lined up right inside here. So it's blasting its light into the plastic. The light will then travel through the plastic, and when it reaches these words and these numbers, it'll light them up like cool. So, but the thing is, if the light bulb's slightly out of position, it'll still cast light, but it won't go through the plastic, and it won't like internally light these guys. You won't get the effect you're after. That's what I want to say. So I gotta watch for that. Okay. So I think I got the power thing figured out. Now, can we jump her in? I'm pretty sure we can jump her in there pretty easy. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? That's up here. We can jump her onto these. We're in business. So that's the power now of speakers. So I found the speaker terminals here. I need. Gee, I wonder. Oh, man, bad with the camera today. I wonder if. Okay, I'm going to stop and wonder on my own. Wonder on my own. Okay, let's take a look at what I've done here. It's a little bit of a jury-rigged arrangement, but lead to one speaker. They're kind of just wedged in there. Okay, and the other speaker back here with clip leads, tied off for strain relief. So go ahead and tug on these. Here's the power right up here, just done with clip leads again. Kind of really a very, not the best way to do it, but I'll just keep my eyes peeled. Got that strain relieved here. So we can basically turn this guy on. But before I do that, I want to flip this around. To its normal position. Okay, now I got to rehearse the controls here. There's nothing worse than turning something like this on and having it come on full blast and not knowing which control is the volume. So we will practice. So volume control here, bass, treble, and balance here. So balance is in the middle right now. The on-off switch here You have this weird speakers off thing, and I don't know what that means. Just checking to see if there's some chance there's a switch in here. No. Here we have selections for. So that's interesting. It goes three ways. Neutral. There's a neutral in the middle. They're all in the middle. There's mono. Simultane. Simultan. Simultan. Okay, I don't know what that is. Mono. Tell me there's no stereo in here. They fake the stereo? Come on. No way. No way. There's a left and right inputs. There's left and right speaker. Is this not a stereo receiver? Well, there's no stereo indicating light. I almost always put a stereo indicating light. That's a little surprising. Okay, so we have phono. Whoops. We have phono tape. FMX. AM. In the middle is nothing. Well, maybe it is nothing. Maybe it's nothing. The two tuning controls. Contour. Contour. What are they talking about there? Sounds like a tone thing. Contour. And what is this? This is the unlabeled button. Unlabeled button. Come on. It is. It's an unlabeled button. just to make sure I'm a little on edge here. Okay, so volume down. Set on AM. Balance in the middle. These are really stiff. Treble control kind of in the middle. Bass control kind of in the middle. Power off. Don't know what's going on over here. Okay, once you throw these switches, it kind of holds the cover on. AM. Okay, we're ready. So we're going to bring this on using a dim bulb protection system. Now I do have a transformer down here. I can adjust its output. Right now it's adjusted to 120 volts. So when I plug in my project here, it's not plugged straight into the wall, it's plugged into the wall through a transformer, which means the neutral connection, or ground connection, if I can call it that, the grounded or neutralized side of the power system is forsaken and left behind in the transformer. On the secondary side there is no reference to ground. So this guy here, when I plug him in, he has no voltage relative to all the grounded stuff in my shop, which is everything else. Which kind of means I can't get a shock that way. I can get shocks other ways. So just telling you a little bit about how I'm keeping myself safe. And, you know, I don't go into explanations about how to stay safe in a shop like this. It's complicated, and it's specific to the shop and specific to the person. So all I would say to you is take care of yourself. Protect yourself. I'm doing what I can to try to eliminate shocks, but if you watch lots of my videos, you know I've not been 100% successful on that. Still get the odd shock here and there. Okay, enough of that. So the power is going to reach this through these two incandescent light bulbs. We will start with, both of them are in the circuit. So the idea of this is not only will the bulbs restrict some of the power getting to the machine here. If the machine has a terrible fault in it, even though it has its own circuit breaker, if it has a terrible fault in it, it's going to draw a lot of power. It's going to try anyway, and all that will succeed in doing is making these lights go brighter and brighter. So this is an in-your-face system for telling you something's going wrong. You turn the power on, those bulbs blast away at you. You know something's gone wrong inside here. And at the same time, you've limited the current flowing into whatever the wrongness is. Shorted power transformer would be the classic, I think. Okay, dim bulbs, that's what they're called. So I am going to arm my dim bulb system with this switch. Now if I flip this switch down, this guy will have power. I have this interesting little box here. I recommend you go buy something like this. It doesn't have to be this one. It's just a thing you plug in the wall here. You plug it in the wall, then you plug your item in here, and it tells you how much power it's drawing. Like if you really want to find out what that vacuum cleaner is doing, producing all that heat out the back, get one of these and find out that it's 1,000 watts when you're running your vacuum cleaner. I don't know what it is. I just made that up. But great little device. So this will show me all kinds of stuff. It'll show me current flowing in here, power drawn by the project, voltage that's being supplied right at the outlet here. This is a great little guy. In fact, I have so many monitorings of the power. It's crazy. Yes, crazy, because I also have this meter here, which I never talk about. I have this one over here, which I don't talk about too much. Yeah, meters everywhere. Okay, I think we're ready. Now, on best safety practices, step back. In fact, step over to my right, because I gotta man the switches here. Right, volume down, AM radio, here we go, power on. Okay, now nothing should happen because I haven't turned it on yet. So the first thing we're checking is the switch. So 117 volts unloaded, no load, 117 volts. It's coming through these light bulbs, remember? So there's some resistance in the line. I'll flip this guy on, we'll see what happens. You expect the lights to maybe go bright and down again like this, maybe. Let's see, here we go. Yeehaw! So the voltage dropped a wee bit here. So it's drawing some power. I think it's drawing some power. The light is not lighting. Okay, so we're in a panic situation here. Perhaps my cord is in the wrong spot. Perhaps I made a mistake. Perhaps I need to turn it up and find out it's working. What were all these buttons here? They're unlabeled. What? Unlabeled. So if you look at these buttons, they have a hole in the top of them. Well, why in heaven's name would you have a hole in the top of these buttons? Because you have to grip them. This is how you can grip them. Well, why do you have to grip a push button? Because you're going to pull it out. So I think this is a station memory system, very similar to old car radios. In fact, now that I think about it, the whole mechanism reminds me of a car radio. So I have the buttons on this side must be for FM preset stations. So I will now turn this off. And I'm going to push one of those buttons. And we're going to watch and see if the mechanism doesn't operate back there. Okay, pick a button, any button. These can be hard to push. Nothing happened. Let's try this one. Nothing happened. Okay, this one. There it goes. You see it move there? All the way over to the right. So to set these, let's try one. You tune the station. There's the station. And you decide I want it on this button. You yank it out. Yank it out. You don't yank it out. You don't yank it out. Okay, I'm at a loss for how you set these buttons up then. Or is that one just stuck? Yeah, and this one of course comes right out. All these buttons are in upside down. It's supposed to be like that. I'll bet you they're supposed to be like that. And you can feel the grip underneath. That's pretty odd. I don't have this upside down. How could all these be on upside down? Okay, just little projects for down the road. You know, like there's a long process of getting familiar with something like this. As somebody presents you with it, you don't know what's going on with it. They may tell you a couple things. They may not know everything that's going on with it. You may not hear them right and think something other than what they said. So really, when you start on one of these, question marks everywhere. So let's put the power back on. Now first, you see it's 118 on here, and when I flip the power on, 116. So it's drawing a tiny amount of power. The reason the voltage dropped here is because the light bulbs are still in the circuit. So it's working. Is it? Really? Yeah, it is. It takes virtually no power. Okay, let's try tuning it a little bit. Oh yeah. Definitely a radio. We'll tune it around 640 in this area. There we are. So, having picked up a station, I'm pretty sure it's 590 we're listening to. Let me rotate this a bit. Where's the antenna? Where is the antenna hidden? Oh yeah, it's right in the back here. Right in the back. No, it's on the side. Yeah, it's over here on the side. So the antenna is oriented vertically. It's not going to have quite as much directional stuff happening as well, it still is a little bit directional. So the problem with this kind of radio, AM radio, is the big console like this, you put it in place in your house, you turn it on, and you pray the antenna is aimed at your station. And if it isn't, the FM antenna or the AM antenna is aimed poorly, you get poor reception. It's a great big console. What are you going to do? Turn it on a funny angle in your room? So that's the problem with these consoles, is the antennas can be inappropriately oriented. With a tabletop radio, right, you just do this a little bit. Well, that's good. Now let's try FMX. Now why would they call this FMX? I don't know. That's my answer to that. Now we don't have an FM antenna hooked up here either, so we need to put something on it. Something that will make it think it's got an antenna here. Just going to clip on this piece of wire. Now where would we do that? Probably on the back here. Probably down here where it says FM antenna and FM. So it's FM twice over here. So this looks like a balanced antenna. We'll hook it up to either screw and see if just a yellow wire will be enough of an antenna. I only had one speaker operating during that. Hey, where are you? Way up high. Way up high. Okay, let's turn it back down. We'll give it a tuning. So the FM stations are down in the lower part of the band around where I live. Some kind of interference. I think that's the powerful rock station that I listen to. Not very powerful on here. So it's working. 93. So that's 92, 96, 94, 93. Yeah, Yeah. Okay, here we go. So I think it's in bad need of a tune-up, and it may have some weak components in the detector. In particular, could be one very particular electrolytic capacitor that is throwing off the sound you're hearing. That's probably what's going on with that. Could also just be a bad antenna. I just don't have a good enough antenna yet. Let's go back there. Good talking.
Doc, she's sitting in and sewing something, dressed in a red lumberjack and colorful knit hat, with a young boy sitting beside her.
Especially for kids. They go. Hey, other ways of communicating with the family.
So it tunes it in two places. Here, and then again here. I think it's an alignment. I think it's alignment issues with this. Okay. How about this meter here? What is the meter doing? What does the meter tell us? What does the meter say? If you're hearing a bell ringing in the background, that's one of my cats. The meter says, okay, we're gonna. Yeah, it doesn't say much, does it? Oh yeah.
These are a few of the actors who were on the tour when the NFB doc was made. It looks like a thing out on some country road. They're all wrapped in blankets and sitting around a campfire.
Did it just come off? Yeah, the FM antenna came off. So, but we got what we need out of that little experiment there. So the FM, I think, is messed up. Okay. Really, maybe the next thing is to get the record player in here, hook it all up, and then we'll take care of the record player part of it. And then we can turn attention back to this, because this is going to amplify the record player. Get the record player done, then we can fiddle around with this a little more. Great, that's great. Hey, thanks a lot for watching. So tomorrow I'll have the record player in here, and we'll work on that. See ya.